I found something at a thrift store. It's cool-ish. It wasn't as cool as I wanted, so here we go. 50 caliber Browning machine gun cartridge. Components that came with it. The primer and the case. It didn't have a bullet or propellant or magic fairy dust. Now I'm going to grab, if I can find it, the primer and also a shotgun primer. I'm going to illustrate a few things here with a flashlight so you know what you're getting into. Now this is not a common, well, I don't know how common it is. It's not the one I was hoping I would get. There's two kinds of holes in the back end. Okay, get it out of your system, type it up. Now, that are used in center fire cartridges. I'm not going to go into all the others. And a 50 caliber Browning machine gun, BMG, 50 BMG cartridge has a center fire, and you may have noticed there's something in there. Let's just turn on the flashlight and get her done. Let's try to get this lined up. You'll notice that in there is that damn thing, and you see those holes there. The normal one, the one I was hoping to have, has a hole in the middle, and it doesn't have that pin in the middle that you have to cut off, then drill through, then you have to fill in the other holes, or don't fill them in, you can just leave them. The pin is called an anvil. That means this is a specific type of primer. Now there's boxer primers and berdan primers. I don't remember which one is. I'm a Dapper Dan Berdan guy. No, I'm not. I had to say that. But I think this is the berdan, but I get them backwards all the time. I don't care anymore. I'm sorry. I'm tired of looking shit up. Anyway, I'm going to show you the primers for this. But anyway, because of that, because there's two holes, they're not centered. When you try to pop it out, when you only have one screwdriver because you broke the other one off in its ass, this really was irritating. Please appreciate this. It jam fits it instead of it popping out. Now I want to point out a couple of things about this before I actually show you the primers. I have to show it to you if I can make it visible on camera. Let's see what happens when I do this. Okay. You can notice if you look really, really close, I'm going to see how close I can get this. There are three little indentions. Nice symmetrical ones. Those three indentions are the crimps to keep the damn primer in. I was not able to defeat that. I then tried putting in the screwdriver. The first one. It's in pieces and cursed to hell. The other one worked because it was slightly thicker. No jokes. And this is these holes in here are about 1 millimeter across. They're very worthy of the words, damn you all to hell for being like that. That's what they look like. And because they're offset, it was hard to get out. Now, I'm going to show you the primer for the thing real quick. This is show and tell. We're going to do this first. Okay. And I'm going to get out the flashlight, and it's going to suck because it always does. So anyway, here we go. This is the, let's see if I can get an angle on it. That's the primer strike, or firing pin strike on the primer. And you may have noticed, if you look at it really carefully, there's it's made of anger and fail. There's the dents of me trying to bash it out with a fucking screwdriver. Now I'm going to turn it on its side. That's a thick mofo. And how complicated is this thing? Well, it's that complicated. It's a little metal pocket. That's it. And yeah, I could rotate it 90 degrees, fill it up with primer, and it would suck, and it wouldn't fire very well. But that's what it was. Now, that's the same as a percussion cap on a cap and ball pistol or a cap gun. Okay. Now, the other thing about it is, and I'm not going to turn on the flashlight this time, the diameter for it, the whole diameter, is almost the same diameter as an entire shotgun primer, which is built like this. This is a almost bullet-shaped object with a little rim on it that has one of these stuck in it. It's just a smaller version of it. And it has a little anvil built into it so that you don't have that anvil in there. There's just a hole in the back of the cartridge. That's why shotgun shells have this hole and they don't have that pin in there. And you can see if you look at it, I can be seen through it. There's a fairly large hole. And in this case, a shotgun primer's small end will fit inside of the opening for a 50 BMG primer. And I'll show you some synchronicity of sizes here. And then I'm going to say what I was going to do with this. Here's the information that's interesting about all of these objects in my hands at this time. This is a 12 gauge compatible flare cartridge, or actually a flare launcher. This is the whole flare gun, really. You put it in a launcher, all it does is just hit the back end of it. And it has its own barrel inside of it of a specific diameter, and it's picked that diameter because that's the smallest size that anybody at the time thought people would have fully choked shotguns. Shotguns can choke down to where they go from a cartridge, this cartridge here, and neck down to a specific size, and that makes it to where the BB gun pellets, or dust, or rock salt, comes out in a smaller column. And it can be done multiple stages or just one long taper. And that's why they make these things this shape. Now there's a couple of other reasons for that. You notice that sudden step down. That represents the largest diameter that you're going to get out of a shotgun shell, because that's actually the largest diameter in the shotgun shell. Now I'm going to show you some other synchronicity of objects. I made a joke about these things being simply big-ass 12-gauge shotgun shells. I mean, they have a 1/4 inch extra metal on the back because they're a cannon. But it wasn't too far off, was it? And the ass end of it won't go in there because it's the same diameter as the entire shell all the way back to here. Literally identical diameters. I mean, they're only off by a small amount. And this thing here, like I said, this is the smallest diameter here. I mean, it only necks down that much, but that's how much it necks down for full choke. The chambers, it's identical. Literally the same diameter. And I made a joke in the other video that if you wanted to build a proper shotgun that's made to SAMI standards, literally just get a hold of a 50 BMG cartridge like this and use that profile to drill it out, because this would create the forcing cone that goes down to the smallest diameter you're going to have for a choke. So you could use this as the basis for your drill bit, which is, and if you didn't know about it, 13/16 at the base. Now I'm going to bring up the other thing I was going to do with this. It has the 2 offset holes in the pin in the middle. I'm not going to be able to do it on this one. I was going to find one that had the hole in the middle, drill it out only the diameter I needed, and make it to where it'll hold a shotgun primer for a specific reason. I was then going to grind this down, or cut it down, to where it have exactly flush, because this is the size of the outside edge of that primer's, the edge. Make it to where this thing would become an insert for any shotgun I wanted to put in a barrel, or make it to where it just fired snap caps or whatever. And I was going to, have a video on that. And what you do is you grind it down and make it to where, when you do that, you grind it down and make it to where it's actually proud of the surface, and you put on a brass washer on it that's the same diameter as the base of the shotgun shell, and it'll chamber just fine. And all of these match up with it, just like that flare gun cartridge is made to match up almost exactly the same, so that you can get away with putting it into every shotgun. It would be totally universal. But I ended up with the one frickin' 50 BMG I've been able to find in the last 10 years that was just empty, sitting there, being used as a vase. And it happens to have the primer hole in the wrong spot, so I can't do it. So I can't do the video on that. The idea was to show people how to do that, so you can make these things so you could take a 12 gauge and use it for every other round. No, you can't put this into a flare gun even though it chambers just fine. You don't want to do that. And it won't work for chambering a bullet. Don't do that, because the back of the thing will blow up in your face. At that point, you really are going to hurt yourself. But this would work great for shotgun shells, converting them. You can't use this for a shotgun shell. And what you do with the rest of the space, fill it up with glue, or fill it up with, I was going to use solder, so I could re-drill it and do something else with it. But I can't do that with this one. So anyway, that's the show and tell for the day. I just thought I'd point out all these things that are very much indicating strongly that the 50 BMG cartridge is at least trying to mirror some of the standards for the bore of a shotgun, or maybe some other thing. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And I know that's just a silly assumption, but it's a good shorthand for what the diameters are.